Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tom Ungrodt, President and CEO of Ideation in Ann Arbor. Welcome to what we hope will be an interesting and timely seminar for you today, webinar today. I want to start by mentioning that Ideation was founded in 1963, and its first catalog was printed in 1965. These are the two partners, and my father was the one in the middle, had a very innovative idea back then. And today, along with our retail stores, we are celebrating our 49th year in business. The book was designed as what I call the professional avenue for pre-selling customers in the home. That's exactly what it did then. And again, this is the cover of the book from 1965, and we'll show you a few spreads as we go through this of what it looked like in 1965. You have to laugh at some of the prices. We drive people to the local store with our program. That's the purpose of this catalog. It does not have a mail order blank in it, but it's professionally designed, appropriately priced, great selection of merchandise to do just that. Catalog, Ideation's mantra for its members basically is to increase sales and profits by presenting your store to a population in and around your store. We are the largest and most powerful purveyor of gifts in the country, and we do it with a team of 12 dedicated people and 2 of our own retail stores that we use as testing platforms. Ideation has grown over the years to approximately 450 rooftops, serving the gift industry, the toy industry, and the fashion industry with the same fundamental concept that my father and his 2 partners developed so many years ago. We make it easy, we hope we make it fun, to market your stores and your customer, and selecting all timely merchandise, because we as retailers are all about merchandise, organizing your mailing and presenting it to your customer base over 10 times a year. And I will get into that shortly, of what 10 times a year means. The agenda. Today, the agenda, by the end of this session, or I should say our goal is to help you better understand how we can best use, and you can best use, Ideation vehicles and programs to build sales and profits now and well into the future. We've promised 45 minutes or less, and we appreciate you listening. Please note that there's a Q&A button on the right-hand side that you can click on, type in your question, and we here at the webinar will do everything we can to try and attempt to answer it verbally to the entire audience. I want to start also by saying thank you to Tim Shannon, who you will listen to shortly, and Ben Ungrodt, who is manning the wheels and making all of this happen. Print, ladies and gentlemen, is alive and well. There's lots going on in our world today, but print is alive and well. Statistics show that the response rate through the mailbox far exceeds any other type of consumer advertising. Driving consumer traffic drives sales. No longer can you unlock the front door and expect the cash register to ring. I think we all know that. Today's focus is mainly print, but I highly encourage customer loyalty programs, which we also offer, called PowerPass, and social media programs in which we've developed a partnership with a company called Snap Retail. And I won't get into either one of those in detail, but we do believe in them and use them in conjunction with our print media to help you grow your business. The combination of all of these will guarantee success, and I mean that sincerely. Let's move on into the publications themselves. This listing of what you see, which was on the front opening slide, lists the various 10 different publications that Ideation will produce in 2012. I will not cover every single piece of every catalog today. We'll just give you a bird's eye view of some of the pieces from the different categories that we offer. So let's move into the book and see what it looks like. First and foremost, I want to spend just a minute describing what we're doing here. We customize the catalog Obviously, if you've looked into us before on our website, ideationgifts.com, it will give you an introduction into this. But this is the front page mock-up, if you will, of our spring catalog that is now at the printer and will be in the homes beginning around the 21st to the 25th of April 2012. The cover, you put your store name at the top. Ours is the Crown House of Gifts, and your location, web, what have you. The rest of the cover remains the same throughout the country. The back half of the top of the catalog where it says coupon, it's just that. You can put coupons in there, maps, notes to customers. That is your space. We make recommendations of what should go in there, but many, many people have great success with coupons. For example, you could run $5 off $25. You could put a giveaway item on the back. You could have a special anniversary or open house that you would list on the back in timing with the drop of the catalog. So this is a front and back cover, and you have control, of course, of your logo and your coupons. We do everything in-house except printing of these particular publications. Ben, let's move to the next. Here is a spread of the spring catalog. Obviously, what is timely in the gift business today, and we do this with toy, is women's fashions. We are an item business. We want to focus on the best items at any given point in time in our particular publications, and that's what we do, and we do it well. We do put retail prices in. We do carry on average a 56% margin on our entire catalog. Our buyers, 2 of our 12 staff, are out into all the major shows, sampling merchandise. We have a committee that actually sits down with best retailers and makes final selections for our publications. This is iStyle. iStyle was new a year and a half ago. It is an 8-page publication that we put together for the fashion-minded store and industry. It is really an upscale piece from what Ideation has done, but again, knowing the industry, knowing that it's growing, this is what we're doing, and we're very, very excited about the potential of this down the road. So if you're building a bigger than average women's department in your store or promoting your boutique, we think that's a great publication. Some of the spreads you're now going to look at are our fall of 2011. Obviously, we haven't picked 2012 fall yet, so I don't have anything to show you. We will probably follow up with a webinar in late April, which will give you a little more insight as to where we're going with fall, but our selection process has not occurred yet. You can see, though, that we cover all different parts of what we think are the strengths of the gift industry, and also in the toy, and we will get to that momentarily. This is rather quick, but it does give you a glimpse of how these books work, how they're laid out, how many items per page, which is a challenge. Our classic catalog of 28 pages will have about 130 items in it, pictured. And then it goes down from there. We do represent some toy. This is the cover of last year's 2011 children's catalog. This year I'm pleased to announce we have a 28-page classic and we have a 12-page new toy catalog that we're rolling out for the first time. For those stores who feel that maybe the big book is a little too much, we do that. Our gift catalog, as you noted from the front, comes in a 28-page and a 12-page classic and focus also. Great merchandising theme. We've been in this business now about 4 years, printing a book for 2, for the toy, independent toy people, and or the large pharmacy gift, hardware gift that are in the toy business that want to build this department. Okay, we're winding down on this book. Again, just a glimpse. I apologize for the speed, but we have lots to look at, and we want to make sure we get this done on a timely basis. This is a listing right now. I will tell you I have the wherewithal to change at the last minute, but for 2012, for our gift publications and available for our children's books and others, all inserts are interchangeable in all our pieces, but those of you might be familiar with some of the name brands up there, and we don't have any artwork done on them, but you will see these will be available from 2 cents to 6 cents in addition to the price of the book, and more on that if you talk to Tim in our sales area to discuss what that is. Here is our women's insert. You can see the inserts coordinate beautifully with our catalogs. That's very important to us, and that will continue. This is Yankee Candle, who we've had a great relationship with, and we put things in here that will, again, help you build your department. And this is Demdeco, and the Willow Tree line for those of you who are familiar with it. This is just a sampling of what's available. This is a kid's insert that you can do to build your book without increasing your mailing cost and customize it for your store. That's the idea of the inserts. What I want to do now is introduce you to Tim Shannon. He is our national and worldwide sales manager. Tim will walk you through our mailing, which, you know, you can print anything you want, but you've got to make sure you get it to the home, to the proper address, and we have done our homework. So, Tim, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Tom. Good afternoon, everybody. You know, a little earlier, Tom had mentioned about driving business and customers to your store. What I'm going to talk about works hand in hand with the catalog. As Tom said, the catalog is only as good as the mailing. And I'm going to say it's your mailing, and that's very important because there's no pat mailing for anybody. The software that we use is the most advanced saturation list fulfillment system in the country. It features over 145 million addresses. They're updated monthly, which is twice as often as most saturation list providers. So because of this software, what we come up with is a cleaner list. It will reduce your undeliverable, and you will get better data, all in turn meaning you'll get a better mailing. Our software can saturate a carrier route or a zip code based on 13 different demographics. We can do it by age, home value, income, whether there's renters, home buyers, the percentage of children in a specific carrier route. We can get data all based on that. And just for a second, just so you understand, I think most probably do, but when I say saturation, the Postal Service considers hitting a zip code or a carrier route up to 90% in saturation. That's of the total addresses in that route. All zip codes are split up into carrier routes. An average carrier route would be between 350 and 450 addresses. It really varies depending on the part of the country you're in. But when we're done with this, what we will provide you with is a detailed map, a detailed DNA query based on the entire report, and then separate reports on the carrier routes and those zip codes to help you come up with excellent counts for your mailings. And talking about mailings now, the one thing you should know, and this is one of the things that Ideation was founded upon, is your mailing is your mailing. That is to say, it is protected territory. When you are using a book in an area, that is your area. We will not sell anybody else in your area. We always leave a buffer zone around your area so you have, you have some reason to grow. We want you to be able to grow with the book. A lot of people will start out a little small. Every year they get a little larger. They're more comfortable with the program. We take that into consideration. So it's something to remember that once you're using an area, that is your area. There are three basic ways that you could mail. I'm going to talk about the three of them. There's one is saturation, two is just to a customer list, and the third is a combination of the two. For most of you, a saturation of an area is the most appropriate way to do your mailing. Why is that? Because everything you're selling is appropriate for just about everybody, your general gift. You don't need a specific mailing. Statistics show that most of your customers are in less than a 5-mile radius around your store. So the rule of thumb is, if the product or promotion is mailed, if it can be used by anybody, then it is recommended that you use the saturation list. The second way to do this is with your customer list. And a lot of you will have customer lists, and we all know how important they are. You work very hard to develop those lists. There's a couple downsides to mailing those specifically to a customer list. The U.S. Census Bureau reports that approximately 14% of the population moves yearly, thereby making your database not so good. And there's other things that will enter in that besides just moving. The other thing is, if you think about this, if you invite just buyers to shop into your store, you're never going to have new buyers. In other words, you've got to invite non-buyers to shop in your business so you can acquire new buyers. So that is why we say the absolute best way to mail is the third way, which is a combination, if you have a customer list, of a customer list and saturation, where we will work with you to take the best part of your list and then work saturation around it to get those non-buyers into your store to become buyers and loyal customers. Now, one of the things we'll do when we start working with the mailing, and this is just a starting point because this whole process is a real give and take, is generally I would take the address of your store and go out perhaps 3, 4, 5 miles, whatever. This is actually an address of Crown House, and this is a 3-mile radius. The star in the center is where the store is located. The colored areas within the circle obviously are all the data we're going to get. Now, although it's not marked in there, all those little boundaries are separate carrier routes within zip codes. And we have the capability to pull out a carrier route if for some reason it's not appropriate. And we'll get into that when I actually show you in the report why you might want to do that. But for right now, where we start, we'll just take everything within that report, and it will give us information to work with. Now, what we get from this then is an overall, what we call a DNA. And this is an average of all the statistics within that shaded area. So you can see now under demographics, you see the median income. You can see the median age. And if you look at that, and maybe it doesn't look a little odd, I see a lot of these. 38 years median age is kind of young, and you'll find out why in just a moment. And then if you go on to the other side where it says dwelling, you look at owner-occupied, there you go, Ben, it's 41%, and just about 60% live in apartments. Now, most of you are not going to have that kind of demographic. This particular store, though, is located very close to North Campus of University of Michigan. So we have a lot of graduate students living in that area. That's why it's important to be able to know where it is you're mailing. So this particular query has very heavy apartments, not so many owner-owned homes, and a very lower income, or I'm sorry, very lower age, median age. That's one. Now, if you get to the next report, what the next report is going to do is break all those carrier routes that I told you about into specific median income, median age, and home values. And if you look under zip code 48104, under carrier route, and I think it's City 008, one more down, right there, you see the median income is $9,999, and if you follow that all the way across, you'll see that just about everybody in that area lives in apartments. So those more than likely are graduate students, they're working part-time. So maybe when we were doing a mailing, if we come up with that, that might be one of those carrier routes that we pull out of there. There might be a few others for various reasons. That's why it's important to have good information. That's why it's important to be able to tailor this route so that it works for your mailing. When it's this particular route, when it was all said and done, is 4 pages. Go to the last page if you would, Ben. I think it gives us about 26,000 addresses, over half our apartments. Now here's the thing about the mailing. We don't have to just work with homeowners or apartments. We can put in or take out at any given time post office boxes, trailer parks, rural routes, college apartments, regular apartments, and homes. You can choose or to choose not to mail to any of those, depending on the situation. Obviously, in some parts of the city, you would want to mail to apartments. Maybe they're very good incomes. Maybe they're more like townhouses. Other parts, maybe not so much. That's where we work with you on this. This is not a process that happens very quickly. It starts with something like this, where I would email you this information. You'd call me up, we'd sit there and look at it. I'd take this out, I'd add this in. You might have a particular zip code you want to add in there, and we keep going back and forth until we develop the best mailing for that book. And so, again, just to kind of summarize everything, we want to work with you on this to give you the best possible mailing for your catalog. I'm excited to work with any of you in the future on this, and it's exciting to be part of this program.
Tim, would you, one thing that I think is important with people that have mailing lists, there are a variety of things out there, but we have the ability, of course, to work with just about any mailing list.
Right.
And we look at it and try and identify where those customers are coming from and who they are, and then we can start to move to saturation. Is that
That's
right?
exactly how we would do that. You'd find the better part of the mailing list and saturate around that area that closely resembles that part of the mailing list they're trying to hit. And that's all part and parcel of what we do, and we certainly have the capabilities to do all that. I would also like to say, earlier on there was a mailing of 26 cents. I want you to know that for most of you, that's going to be what your mailing is going to be. It's actually 26.150% for mailing. But that can change depending on the type of list you need us to develop. In other words, if you need a really specialized mailing list, if you wanted to mail strictly to women between 35 and 50 that wanted to buy a snow shovel on a Tuesday, that list is going to cost extra. We've got all the things in motion to be able to put lists like that together. We've done some specifically. A year ago we did a list for somebody that had a downtown store, and most of his customers in that store were employees in downtown, so he didn't want to mail outside of downtown. He wanted to actually mail to the businesses. We were able to do that, and he had a very successful mailing because of that. So it's just a matter of working with each one of you one-on-one.
Thank you, Tim. Now, what you're looking at is a picture. It's a little bit older. We don't have a new one because of the way we're set up today, but our buying meetings. How do we put all this together, and why do we have a buying meeting? Our online ordering system is wonderful. It works very well. It's a fully integrated B2B web-based ordering system. You can sit in your chair at 7 o'clock on Sunday night and place reorders through Ideation. That can be done, and it works very well. The buying meeting is highly encouraged. It's being held right here in Ypsilanti, Ann Arbor, starting the 5th of June. This is what you will and how you will order. You bring your own laptop, you bring your own iPad, you roam the room, look at the merchandise. We present all the merchandise that's pictured, and you will place your orders at that meeting for your fall programs. We do it for toy, we do it for iStyle, we do it for all of them. We'd like to think it's mandatory. We don't tell anybody they have to come, but the big opportunity is the networking. We run small seminars during the meeting. Everything to do with your business, making you more profitable. So it's well beyond print. And let's face it, you get to meet our staff, you get to sit down, put your covers together, you work the mailing that Tim just went through, and it will be the most productive 3 days that you will have. It starts again, as you can see on this agenda, Tuesday at 2 o'clock is kind of a soft opening, and then we have the Ideation Buying Group, which is a select number of vendors that we bring in that complement your catalog. And then Wednesday, the seminars start. Buying actually starts on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. We work all day Thursday. We offer you dinners. And then on Friday, the meeting will shut down just after lunch, and you're on a plane or in your car on the way home. So the buying meeting is something that we have done since day one, and feel it is a critical part of the process. We don't have a sampling of the B2B. You can call Tim, and he can give you a test password and code to be able to go in and view our purchase order system. But in fact, it is really, really very good, very strong, and along with a normal B2B website, giving you information on the industry on a weekly basis. So I would simply like to say that, well, first I'll turn it over to Ben. You have a few comments. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. I just wanted to quickly remind you guys that we did go through this fairly quickly, but if you would like to go back and watch it again at your own leisure, I will be putting the recording attached to a constant contact email that you will be getting from Ideation in the next 24 hours. It will have a link in the email, and you'll simply click on the link, and it will allow you to go on your Windows Media Player, whatever you choose to use, and watch this at your own speed. If you want to go back and concentrate on those spreads or whatever you'd like, it'll be live for about a week. So please get to it, and in about a week we will take it down. But for that week, you can watch it as many times as you would like. Thank you.
Tom, just briefly, I would just like to say most of you, knowing who's on here right now, I know that most of you I've spoken to sometimes already. I would just like to say I would be more than happy, and this is what I do this time of the year, to stop into your store or your office to go over this entire program in depth. I could spend the time doing it with you, your staff, anybody else you'd like to have involved. All you do is have to make a phone call. And if you happen to be in Hawaii, I'll stay for days. That'd be fine. But please don't be afraid to have me do that. There's absolutely no obligation. I love doing it. I like seeing other stores, and that's really part of my job. Well, we did stay under the clock. Matter of fact, we're just about 30 minutes instead of 45. It's always good to be done on a timely basis. We have on the screen contacts. I encourage you to call me, call Tim, call anybody in the office. I want to conclude simply by saying we all know that the retail environment is extremely challenging today. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this session, the goal is to help you better understand how ideation programs can grow your business. I want to thank you for the time, and I want you to feel free to call us anyway for information. We consider ourselves to be dedicated and very passionate about the gift business and the toy business and the fashion business, and we will answer your questions. We've really, truly enjoyed talking to you today, and I would like to again thank Tim and Ben for their time in putting this together. I hope you all have a very, very successful spring, keeping in mind that if there's something you want to do, we should move on it very soon because our schedules, fortunately, are filling up, and we're trying to meet our deadline of our June 5th meeting in Ypsilanti and Ann Arbor. All of you have a great day. Enjoy. Talk to you very soon. Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.